Time's up. Have your own.
Here it comes.
Chevron 1, coded.
For my ally is the Force, and the powerful ally it is. Life creates it, makes it grow.
You failed, Your Highness. I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
Cry hammer, and let's set the dogs of war.
Chevron 2 is coded.
Conan, what is best in life? Crush your enemies, see them driven before you, to hear the lamentation of your women.
It's all in the reflexes.
Paul also said you're heavy into martial arts, Tai Chi and all that killer stuff.
I suppose we have to register you as a lethal weapon.
Chevron 3 encoded.
And somebody ought to belt you in the mouth. But I won't. I won't. The hell I will.
Chevron 4 encoded.
Do you expect me to talk? No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
Chevron 5 encoded.
You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Chevron 6 encoded.
Come on, you can, love boy.
Back off, man. I'm a scientist.
I thought I'd die fighting side by side with an elf.
What about side by side with a friend?
A day may come when the courage of men fails, when we forsake our friends and break all bonds of fellowship. But it is not this day.
Chevron 7 is locked.
Hail and howdy, everybody. Welcome to Saturday Night Drive-In, where I honestly almost accidentally clicked end stream right as we started. I was scrolling up to select things, and I was like, and I realized you're hovering too close to the button. Stop. We also have stupid shit now. I haven't added here, Jed. I have a built-in soundboard on StreamYards now. They added one. They added the StreamYard soundboard.
Are you going to use it?
To annoy Dermy. I'm going to play the baby chuckle from Doctor Who because I know it drives him crazy.
Oh, God. Yeah, that thing is creepy as hell.
Yeah, and he hates it. So I got to clip that out and put it on there. I mean, right now, I have a couple of things on here. Like I can go... Yeah, I could do that. Or I could do this. You'll appreciate this one.
There'll be whales here.
So I could do stupid shit and put it on there, but I'm using it mainly to annoy people. Anyway, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. Excited to be here to talk about this movie. I think we're going to have an interesting discussion about it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty of the show is we don't just come on here and just glaze old movies.
No.
That would take like 5 minutes to say, yeah, we like old movies. Yeah. No, we try to have a discussion about it, and I think we're going to have a good one tonight.
I think we are, because I can tell from your tone you weren't quite pleased with this movie. You're not quite pleased with it.
I was not a fan of this film in any way, shape, or form. I found the plot obvious when it wasn't broken. The performance is bizarre, and just overall the characters boring. I didn't connect with anyone. I didn't like anyone's decisions, but there are some great things to talk about, like the effects. I think the effects for what was it 1990 were incredible, especially the makeup, the visual effects. There were things to like about it, and the skin idea is interesting. If I think underutilized or it doesn't quite go the final mile, but yeah, no, this is not a film that I have any intention of ever watching again voluntarily.
Okay, good. What is just talking about? We're talking about this was the result of the latest chat choice for 2025 third quarter edition. The chat won. This will be won by a single vote. Darkman, Sam Raimi's Darkman, because there are multiple Darkman movies, but there's only one Sam Raimi's Darkman. Darkman 2 and Darkman 3 were what we called at the time direct-to-video releases, and they were not held in high regard. By
I'm
the
guessing
same Raimi
Liam
crowd.
wasn't involved in them either.
No. Liam Neeson was not starring that. Andre Vosloo took over as Darkman. Who might know him, he played the Mummy in the Mummy movies. So
Okay.
he took over for those. I've seen each of them once, and I honestly don't remember them because they were on
You
TV.
don't remember Die, Darkman, Die?
No, I don't.
It's a great title, by the way.
Yeah.
Darkman 3, Die, Darkman, Die.
Yeah.
It's a lot of D's.
Yeah. So here we go. But the original Darkman movie came out in 1990 and was not a stellar success, of course. No, this wasn't a major success, but it has a very large cult following, especially Sam Raimi acolytes. I mean, let's be honest. You either like Sam Raimi or you don't. I personally, I do like Sam Raimi, but I mean, Jed, you've seen probably several Sam Raimi movies. You've seen Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2.
That's most of what I've seen is the Spider-Man trilogy and, of course, his new Doctor Strange film. I think this is the first original work of his that I've made, or it feels more Sam Raimi than anything else. Was this based on a graphic novel or something?
I don't
or is
remember.
This wholly original?
Probably based on something. Point is this. Here's the thing. This is Sam Raimi not dealing really like with an established property. And Sam Raimi's also, he's a horror guy, because there's a little bit of body horror in this movie, a little bit here and there. Sam Raimi's a horror guy. His real magnum opus is, of course, Evil Dead 1, 2,
which I
Army of Darkness. Seen. See those that is also, well, Evil Dead 2 and Evil Dead 3. I don't know. Did he do Evil Dead 1? Because Evil Dead 2 is essentially a remake of Evil Dead 1 with a tighter script and people having a little more fun, and him and Bruce Campbell having a little more fun with it than they did in the first one. And then there's Army of Darkness. Then, of course, he did the Ash vs. Evil Dead TV series. He's done a lot of stuff, but you either love Sam Raimi or you don't. And this movie is pure Sam Raimi unfiltered. From the direction, the production, the very light script writing. There's not a lot of dialogue in this movie. It's very dialogue light. It's all about the visuals and the sounds and stuff like that.
I think the biggest thing that was included in the script was Liam Neeson's character going, I think that's half of the dialogue is him just moaning like that. Ridiculously
Julie!
Oh, I could not take Liam Neeson's performance in this film. I've seen bad movies with Liam Neeson in it, but I've never seen a bad performance from him. Like, he's always made himself into probably the best thing in any film. Like, Phantom Menace. Phantom Menace is a broken movie, but I have no complaints about his performance in that film. This is the first time I've watched a Liam Neeson movie and go, God, if this was the only Liam Neeson movie I've seen, I would call him a terrible actor. Oh my God.
He just kind of hammed it up in this.
He hammed it up so far.
But I love it. I love it.
Julie, I'm back from the dead.
It's so cringe. It's good. See this movie, if you embrace the insanity and the illogical nature of all of it, and realize this is essentially a comic book movie. It's essentially a comic book movie before they were comic book movies. If you come at it from that angle, it's just a really stupidly fun movie.
Well, you can get away with that to a certain extent, but when the plot itself doesn't make sense, you lose that argument. Like I can't get invested in it. Like, there's comic book movies where the plan's just dumb. It's like, oh, evil supervillain wants to take over the world. That's comic booky in an acceptable way. But this one, I'm an evil businessman and I'm gonna memo about the things I did. And then when I get my hands on the memo, I'm going to leave it on my desk so my new girlfriend, the woman who found the memo initially, can find it at any time. The memo, I can't stand the memo. The memo doesn't make sense. There's no universe in which they memo about bribes. It's like, hey, dude, did you see that I wrote this bribe to the city council? Man, that was nuts. Signed, CEO man. And then he didn't destroy it. For God's sake, you send a crime boss to do your dirty work, which he has no way of knowing that Peyton has it. Unless there's a director's cut that I didn't see. In the version I saw, he is not told where the memo is. The lawyer lady just says, I don't have it on me. Why the fuck did they tracked her?
Well, because there is the line, we essentially live together. That's where she was essentially living.
She has a legal residence elsewhere,
and
though.
they probably followed her because these are not people who are
This is that night, so they didn't have a chance to follow her. They found out she was a bad or she had this evidence, and then they go straight to Peyton. That doesn't make sense, and then they didn't destroy the memo immediately. She has a legal residence, which they didn't check out because these guys aren't subtle.
Here's the
if
problem
they checked
with the
out her
memo.
apartment, she would have noticed, hey, my entire apartment's been torn apart. Wait, my boyfriend, where I spend most of my time, is dead, and his apartment's built up right after I told evil businessman that I have proof that he's evil businessman.
Here's the
What
problem
could
with the
have
memo.
happened?
Here's the problem with the memo. And this is Sam Raimi as not as good a writer as he's a director, okay? The memo in the beginning is supposed to be introduced as to show that the businessman is not the secret villain of the whole movie, and that he's in competition with Durant. The problem is then when you get the reveal that Durant was working for him the whole time, it ruins the whole memo plot. There's the problem, and I can acknowledge that. It's a very, very big plot hole. Then why is it there?
It being a memo is already broken because, like I said, no businessman memos about the crimes they commit. Now, if it was like, hey, I have an accounting breakdown of funds and there's some discrepancies. Hey, there's a logbook that I have that proves your crimes, and then the logbook gets stolen. That's way more legitimate than, oh yeah, I found out that you sent memos about how you're evil.
Well, here's the problem too. The whole plot of him trying to get land to build his city of the future, it's actually completely disconnected from the actual plot of Darkman getting revenge, because he's not getting revenge to stop the city building of that. He's getting revenge because they fucked him up. And it's not that's it. And it boiled down to a pure simplest thing. That's the fun part of it. Whereas just Darkman Peyton sinking deeper into his psychopathy because he's losing his mind, and he just goes on this revenge kick, and he uses his science to do it, and that works for me because I love a good simple revenge flick. And
that part of the story absolutely works when he's figuring out how the masks work, how to get those working, tracking the Durant's henchmen. All of that part works for the most part, except for when he actually needs to kill them, which we'll get into those bizarre scenes. But yeah, I would agree that if you just trimmed all the fat with the lawyer, his lawyer girlfriend, and her boss, this film would be a lot better. It's already at an hour and a half long.
Yeah,
this is a short film. It should not have been a feature.
You realize that it's just a shade under 99 minutes. It's just a shade under 99 minutes, which is just how long the liquid skin lasts in the light. I never noticed that before because I never looked at because the way we watch movies these days, we see the times on the screen and how long it's running. You normally don't see that when you throw it into the DVD player and you're just watching it because it comes up for a second, you don't pay attention. But now you see how long runtime is and realize, wait a minute, 1 hour, 35 minutes and X amount of seconds. That's just short of 99 minutes. Sam Raimi. Sam Raimi. I see what you did there with your editing, getting it just like that.
I did laugh out loud at the very beginning of the film when he took a Polaroid of a nose, scanned it into a computer, made a hologram of a nose, and then 3D printed a nose that melted. That's just insane. As sentences go, that was not one that I planned on saying at any point in my life. I think this film would have worked a lot better without the holograms, and it at one point it feels super grounded, super realistic science.
Then it gets comic
present day, and then it gets, hey, we have holograms. Hey, we have this crazy technology, and that is competing themes to me. So that takes me out of it. And it seems like the holograms were purely introduced just to kill the blonde dude at the end of the film, which is entirely unnecessary. I have a lot of problems with that scene, but I think after 15 minutes, maybe we should describe the plot. That's my bad.
It's fine. The plot's pretty simple. What you have is a scientist Peyton, I forget his Westerkin, or something like that. Anyway, played by Liam Neeson. His whole thing, he's trying to invent essentially prosthetic skin for medical purposes, and him and his lab assistant are very close to it, but it only remains stable for 99 minutes. And at the same time, he has a girlfriend, Julie, who's a lawyer who works for what turns out to be an evil businessman. She uncovers, like you said, that there's a shady payoff deal so you can get the land. At the same time, we learn about Robert Durant and his crew, who are not even a crime boss. He's just a giant thug who strong arms people. There's like no other real business for his crime. And you think he's competing with the businessman, but in fact, he's working for the businessman. And essentially, in order to get the memo, when the businessman finds out it's there at Liam Neeson's place, Durant and his crew come in there. They torture Liam Neeson's Peyton. We'll just call him Darkman. They torture Darkman, and he gets mutilated in a wildly and one again. We'll get into it for the back half because there's no point in talking about Sam Raimi's directing style. As we go in the movies, we'll save that for afterwards. It's a very unique style. And essentially, in a wild and crazy way, he survives the explosion of the lab. And he's mutilated. Of course, I'm sure you love the one coincidence. His synthetic skin could be the one thing that could allow him to be somewhat normal.
Oh yeah, it's very convenient that the scientific project that is his life's work is the thing that can make him unmutilated, and it's very convenient that the people who find him on the banks of a river are doing illegal medical experiments to sever his brainstem nerves, which makes it so that he doesn't feel pain. He has enhanced strength, and he's emotionally unstable.
Well, the enhanced strength they lay it out they lay out their movie science like this. When they're, I say it's movie science. I'm not saying it's real science because I know you would hate it if I did that.
It's so dumb.
It's movie science is that because he doesn't feel pain anymore, his emotions are gonna feed on other things, and he'll be prone to rage, and the rage will basically release unchecked adrenaline rushes, which will give him superhuman strength. That's his ability. Feels no pain, and he gets angry at the drop of a hat. He has a rage problem, and he's strong.
That's
and then becomes
bizarre. I don't think we needed that in this film. There's the body
you had to
horror
give
element.
him some power. You had to give him some level of power that made him a little superhuman.
His intelligence, I think, was more than enough because they already established that he's a very smart scientist, that he's working on disguises, and his subterfuge is his greatest tool. He doesn't use his super strength much at all in the film. So
he's not a trained fighter.
I mean, like, he just doesn't physically even push things all that much. There's a couple times, like, he throws the one dude through a wall, but that's most of what he does. So just focusing it on, he's really smart. He can put on the mask, but he's in constant agony. I think that would fuel the body horror element a lot as well, is if he was physically in pain through all of this instead of just we did a little incision and now he can't feel pain. And now he's like super strong, even though he won't use it, and he's unstable. You're already going to be emotionally unstable from enduring something like this. So it feels like a lot of unnecessary add-ons to accomplish the goal that already was achieved by mere fact of the accident. Just, that's unnecessary.
You're sucking the fun out of it.
I didn't have any fun watching this. The only fun I had is the first time he's stalking one of the henchmen, and it's the guy who killed the lab assistant, and it's in the dark alley. I'm like, please drop down like Batman. Please drop down like Batman. And he drops down like Batman.
Ivan
and
Raimi.
Died laughing.
Rick is Ivan Raimi. That's Sam Raimi's brother, who gets in every single one of his movies. Always in there.
I died laughing when that happened. That's the only time I enjoyed myself, when I predicted that he was going to drop down like Batman.
You mentioned Batman. This, of course, the score is by Danny Elfman, 1 year removed from doing the score for Batman '89, and it's essentially Batman '89, just without hearing da-na-na-na-na. Every second, I feel like it's going to happen any second now, but it doesn't, and it just curves a little bit. It's Danny Elfman. Danny Elfman, one of the greats, but very repetitive with his scores. Doesn't drift far away. So it was essentially a tweak of Batman '89. And here's the thing too, just to stay on the score thing. We usually leave for the end, but I want to talk about it now because it wrapped on. Because you said Batman, I want to talk about it. Literally every second of this movie is scored. There's no silence in this movie. Without the score, the movie would I would call it bad, really bad. I like this movie for what it is. I like Sam Raimi, but when you take away the score, and it would just be very strange movie because there's a lot of there's a lot of I guess I guess I'll say lack of dialogue. I said before already. There's a lot of no dialogue where Sam Raimi wants you to just see stuff and feel stuff, and the score has to carry a lot of the scenes. So it does it, not perfectly, but it does it well for me. It does it well for me. Go ahead.
I didn't hear most of the music throughout the film. I don't know if maybe my versions, the mixing was a little bit bad, but yeah, I didn't notice the music for a lot of the film.
Oh,
But
I noticed it constantly. Yeah.
there were a couple scenes where I did notice it where I wish I had it. I think body horror works a lot in just pure reaction. So that first time that he unmasked himself when we didn't see it, which I like, saving it for the big reveal at the end.
Yeah.
Having that be a really silent, intimate moment where you only hear the bandages and it's virtually silent, and just the creak of his knuckles as he starts to lose control. Like that one, you could craft a very suspenseful scene built on the lack of sound. But the music comes in.
But here's the thing. Sam Raimi's not about serious. Sam Raimi is about I would say Sam Raimi is another version of Tim Burton where he wants to get a little whimsical but not too out there, and he wants it to be a little wrenching but not so much that you're either scared or too emotionally pushed around. It's a dance he does, and a lot of times he is successful with it. For you, this movie clearly not. I actually like that moment because I actually like to hear. I liked him sobbing as he sees himself.
The sound effects are good, and his performance, the sobbing's fine. It's just the music in that moment. I wish there hadn't been music.
I guess it's a matter of taste. It works for me. I wasn't bothered by it. Frankly, like I said, if there was any less score to this movie, it would be hard to watch because there's so much. I want to say dead space between, I guess, dead air between scenes.
What you're describing is my experience of the film. That's what it felt like to me. The music wasn't enough to clamp down on that weird feeling of what the hell's happening.
That's a fair point. So you just kind of made my point. The music carries the movie a lot through different points, and it emphasizes things, and it allows you to, I think, for me at least, get more attached to what Darkman is going through as he descends deeper into what he's becoming. And I think it is, even though you say get rid of it, I think it's important when he manages to rescan his face and create a mask of what he used to look like and try to reconnect with Julie. I think for me, it's a good juxtaposition of, okay, he's really trying here to be normal again, but then in their last date where he almost kills the what do you call that guy? The fair worker, the carny, where he almost kills the carny at the game. That I think that's when he realizes, yeah, I have to give up on being normal ever again. And I think now, could Sam Raimi have done a little cleaner without kind of the comic silliness of it? Of course, but then that's not Sam Raimi's style. There's always going to be a little bit of comic juxtaposition again, a comic angle to make it be a little silly. So you can laugh a little bit at it. That's just his style. And you either like Sam Raimi like that or you don't. And I don't think you like Sam Raimi like that.
I guess not. I mean, I love his Spider-Man films. I don't hate Spider-Man 3 like other people do. But yeah, I'm a big fan of the Raimi Spider-Man trilogy. This one just didn't work for me in the slightest. The plot was broken, so I was focusing on how nothing seemed to make sense. And I don't like that he's called Darkman. I don't think that actually makes a whole lot of sense. It would have if the whole thing about his mask only working at night because of that 90-minute countdown in light had played into it. That could have worked. It's like I can only operate at night, but that didn't play into it at all. So the name seems completely random to me, and just everything feels like a isolated idea that was stitched onto a whole that it wasn't built cohesively to connect with. So it just feels like a whole bunch of random shit to me.
You're not wrong, because like I said, the two different plots don't quite meld together and only come together at the end with the reveal that the businessman the real estate guy is the actual big bad. So it's not.
And at the end of the film, he's like, "I know you so well, Peyton. I know how you think." They've never met.
That is a massive flaw
about anything.
Yes, that is a massive flaw. The real estate businessman being the villain at the end, it's such an out of nowhere reveal without any buildup and any actual knowledge of what he's done. It's one thing to have Durant be the bad guy. We get a ton of him doing horrible things. We see that he is ruthlessly efficient in what he does, as using terror and fear and violence to get what he to get his way and get things done. But having the businessman come in and be the villain, it is an out of nowhere twist. And like I said, Sam Raimi, perhaps not as I said, not perhaps, it's true in some cases, at least early on. Now, I would say in these days, better, because if you ever watch all of Evil Dead and watch Ash versus Evil Dead seasons 1, 2, and 3, seasons 1 and 2 are fantastically well written, well directed, well performed, well produced. Season 3, little light, little chunky. They knew they were done, so I don't think he was taking this seriously. But he is a better writer now than he was back then. But there is problems in the writing in this. There's problems with the narrative. I agree completely. But I still love it for the quirkiness that it is, because I like a Sam Raimi movie. And of course, the end of the movie is nuts with the swinging around and the fight on the balance beams, and
they fall 2 stories, and the real estate guy beats up the dude with super strength after falling 2 stories onto his back.
It's done. Like I said earlier on, there's a lot of don't take this so seriously. Very comic book. It's Sam Raimi trying to be comic booky when not understanding how to add enough realism so that our suspension is not completely blown. Because it is ridiculous where he's firing that bolt gun and it's ridiculous. And
it turns Darkman into Jesus for a moment with the spike to the hand.
Yeah, I mean, there's also some requests. So there's also a distinct feeling, and we've used this criticism before in other movies, and I will use it here, otherwise I'd be inconsistent. A complete lack of law enforcement presence in this entire movie, as all these crimes are being committed all over the place. I mean, especially in the helicopter chase scene where he's hanging with Durant. There's a police chopper, and Durant has a minigun in there. There's no way he'd be holding that minigun unmounted and unleashing on that.
Especially him. It's not like Arnold or something who looks super, has super strength. And the police aren't going to open fire with machine guns with civilians in the line of fire like that and risk a helicopter coming down on a civilian population. They just immediately see, oh, helicopter with bad guys. Let's go full army mode.
It's completely unrealistic, and you do lose a certain sense. But as I said, it's so stupid. I love it. I will unapologetically say I love every second of it. And it's just dumb, and it's fun. And I have no defense for it. I mean, listen, as much as I like this movie, I never would have put this movie in front of us for this show. I never would have done this, because we're not exactly having an intellectual conversation here. We're just I'm just trying to defend what I know is a niche, crazy movie. And here is my friend Jed, who wants this shit to make sense, and it just doesn't. And he's like,
I tried to put it together. I tried to see how things connected, and they just didn't. And a common thing that we talk about as well is passage of time. I have no idea how long this time. Does it specifically say?
Well, it doesn't say, because, okay, I know it was roughly at least up to the point where he finishes the Peyton mask. 571 hours is 9 days. I did the math, knowing that this question would come
sequence.
Up.
So that's one sequence, and that's not enough.
That's the only clue we have between that and then a few days later. This probably takes place over about a 2-week period. This whole movie takes place over about a 2-week period.
I don't think that's anywhere near enough time to justify everything that happens just from the skills that he acquires and figures out. Jerry rigs this whole setup again, gets copies
It doesn't
of
make
his
sense that
equipment.
any of that material survived the explosion. That doesn't
Not
make
an
any
explosion
sense.
that big.
Yeah,
and
it doesn't make any sense.
And I think a rage monster with anger issues would be prone to killing. He doesn't kill any of the henchmen outright. I mean, he latches the helicopter down and kills Durant.
He pushed poor Rick and make sure he got run over. He held him
Yeah,
so he
all
got
right.
run over.
That one I can absolutely give you, absolutely. But in the final fight where he takes out like half the henchmen in one swoop, instead of just killing a henchman, he puts a mask on one and then puts another mask on it, runs it at the other henchman, and then when the henchman shoots his friend, he walks up wearing that same henchman's face and like, and then ties him up and blows up his own lab with all the equipment to make more masks, which is the accomplishment of his life's goal and his only path to redemption and fixing himself for a random henchman. I could buy blowing up his own lab as a fulfillment moment for killing Durant or something like that, but a random henchman, it's not even the guy who killed his friend. It's a random henchman that he blew up all his equipment for instead of just fucking killing him like a rage monster would have.
Well,
And
both
then
those guys
giving
were
Durant
involved
the
in beating
time
the shit out of him. They
were
both
still involved, but it's still like we didn't get anything from them. They didn't kill his friend. It wasn't Duran who was in charge. It just seems like blowing up his lab for this guy just is completely unjustified instead of just killing him and going to rescue the
the
woman
lab
he
was
loves.
compromised at that point. It was compromised.
He can still get his equipment out of there.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean, sure,
here's the thing.
It survived one explosion.
Here's
Why
the
can't
thing.
it survive another?
He's stolen already a bunch of money from Durant. He's got that shit stashed, and he will use it to fund his research going forward. That's how I look at that, and I think that's where it did go with the sequel movies, where he used the money he stole from Durant to fund his research further.
It just it's inconsistent with him being a rage monster, in my opinion, to set up an elaborate trap and let the guy he wants to kill get away. Like Durant could have 100% gotten away in that time it took him to set up that trap with the hologram for Blondie, and his girlfriend could have been killed during that period.
Oh, she wasn't gonna be killed. She was simply being taken hostage.
No, he didn't know that though. All he saw was, hey, she's standing on the street, and the bad guy's like, wait, she's staring at an abandoned factory? Darkman must be in there! And rush in instead of waiting till they have confirmation that he's actually there. And then she's grabbed and taken away. So all he knows is some people grabbed her and took her away. I need to go help her. So he doesn't know that she's specifically only taken hostage. So from the information he has, hey, Durant is here. I need to kill him, and I need to go rescue my girl. Why don't I rig an explosion to kill a random henchman and waste 15 minutes of time doing that?
Actually,
setting up
here's the thing.
He bought the rubber chicken thingy or the floppy chicken thingy.
Here's the thing. I have it's sort of a headcanon response to what you're saying here, just because based on another bit of information we have moments later. At this point, I think he's already spent the money and has another lab because he had that damaged Durant mask that he wore that he wears to the meetup at the construction site.
In the sequence, they showed that he was keeping mass in a different part of the factory that didn't blow up.
Oh, you're right.
They had the mask hanging behind the curtain or whatever, and that was far enough away.
Okay, you're right. Sorry, I forgot. To me, that's part of the wrapped up in that sequence of them freaking those guys out when they see that one. Listen, we're not going to see eye to eye on any of this. I know this. We're not. I understand your criticisms, and I validate each and every one of them. For the most part, you're not wrong, but it's a dumb comic book movie, and I know that's not a good answer to you because it's why I would never try to defend this movie to you. That's the problem. I can't. You've made legitimate criticisms. It's not like I can say, yeah, but it works like this. No, there are a lot of narrative problems, but I still love the movie. Mm-hmm. This is why it's a gamble when we do this, because with the chat, they're going to give us a movie. And if it's a movie I know I come prepared that I've chosen specifically because I can pretty much predict what the conversation could be like, or if I have to defend it, that's one thing. But there's no defense for any of this. There isn't. You either like Sam Raimi or you don't. And now let's for the remainder of this, what is good about this movie though is Sam Raimi is a talented director. He has a very unique style of the quick zoom ins and the Dutch angles and the crossfade. I know you're hot on crossfades because of stupid Alien Earth right now. But
it did trigger me a little bit. But
Sam Raimi does it well. Sam Raimi knows how to do. He doesn't abuse it because he did in Spider-Man. That's a Sam Raimi thing. So I love his direction. It's a very unique thing, with the quick cuts, the zoom ins, the close face zoom up to see the reaction, the little bit of body horror here and there. That's all tried and true Sam Raimi stuff. And the best of that though is in Army of Darkness and Evil Dead 2. That's the best of it. That's perfect Sam Raimi right there. This is Sam Raimi overall trying to, I think, to blend the two things he likes, horror and comics, and it doesn't quite work to the extent that it did, where it fully works with comedy horror with Evil Dead, and he does it really well with comic book and Spider-Man, and this is kind of an in-between where he tried to blend them and it didn't quite stick. I don't have much else to say. I told you we probably weren't going to be here very long because this is not a movie that's going to entail, unless it's two people who really love it and want to talk about the scenes and why they like the scenes and why they like this and that. The way we work this show, where we're going to analyze, break it down, and nitpick, it's not really. I got nothing else to say. I mean, the chat clearly loves the movie. The chat loves the movie. They love this movie just like I do, and they understand that it is a just dumb, silly, crazy Sam Raimi movie.
Yeah, if to be clear, if you're taking it as that, I can absolutely buy and accept that opinion. I don't feel that way in any way or have that emotional connection to it. But there's plenty of dumb movies that I like that are broken from.
And I'm acknowledging that it's a dumb, silly,
like,
stupid Sam Raimi movie.
And that just doesn't work for me. And I think that's where we're coming down to. We see eye to eye in the other person's view of the film, and I don't think either of us, like you said, are going to convince each other.
No,
and
never.
at this point, I don't think either of us are trying to. Either.
No, we're not. We're justifying at this point. We're just justifying is what we're doing.
I don't see any value in the script whatsoever. I see value in Sam Raimi's direction. Like you're saying, the cinematography is good. The effects are so great, especially his the prosthetic that they use for his mangled face at the end of the film. It looks incredible. Some of the body horror is great.
And that's the Sam Raimi specialty right there.
Whining
that's his stuff.
from Peyton, but like when he's just looking at his hand and reacting to seeing his hand like that and how it doesn't work like it's supposed to, all that stuff is absolutely great. So there are things of value in it. I just don't think any of it comes from the script. Like the script, I think, is irredeemable at this point. But
it's not a well written script at all. It's not well written at all.
And of course, that's where I'm going to come from when watching stuff as a writer, and I'm always trying to make plots work. And so that's how I enjoy films. And with a film like this, where the script doesn't work, it's never going to be something that I enjoy, and without a nostalgia factor. If I'd seen this as a kid, maybe it would be different.
That's exactly what I was going to say next. Damn it, you know me so well. I was going to say, I'm a little kid. I saw this for the first time in a movie theater. I went to see this in the theater, convinced my mom to take me to go see it, and I just thought this was the craziest kid crackhead movie I ever saw at the time. Like, this is great. I have that kid nostalgia where I saw it, and it, to a little kid, it's fantastic because it's not too frightening, and it's got just enough action, and it's not really so in your face that a kid's going to be scared by it, or a parent's going to feel really bad about having their kid watch it, because there's not too much cursing in it, and it's not in your face abusive or anything like that. Action is what it is. I'd already been indoctrinated to high intense action movies by that age, so this was light compared to other stuff I've seen. Therefore, I have that nostalgia factor for it. I was there, and it wasn't too much later that I got introduced to Evil Dead as I got a little older, because you have to be a little older to appreciate Evil Dead and all its glory. And this is a perfect thing right here. Sam Raimi is many times style over substance. It's about the Sam Raimi experience in a movie. It's not so much about, is this a deep this, that, is it well written, is it well acted? No, it's about the Sam Raimi experience. And this is a Sam Raimi experience. And that's what I would sell this movie on to people who like Sam Raimi and like what he does. But as you said, we all like these dumb, stupid movies. And I'm not trying to convince you that this is a work of art. No, it's a dumb, silly, stupid movie, and I love every second of it. And I do have on my wish list a special edition steel book that I'm gonna buy one day because I want it on my shelf, because it's just dumb and I love it, and I like Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
And I can admit that. Yeah.
I just don't like style over substance, really. My favorite is the balance between the two. If a director can achieve a balance, that's gonna be in contention for my favorite movies of all time.
I can understand that.
And that's why I love Alien. Alien, the spectacle in Alien, the effects in Alien are just next level, but there's still so much substance to it. That's why I can't stand the Avatar movies because they're
Oh yeah,
all
well,
about the effects, all about the
that's different.
style.
That's different. Here's the thing. I can compartmentalize myself for these types of things, and I love it for what it is, and I'm never going to pretend it's anything but that. And I can understand where you're coming from. That you want the whole thing like that, and you're not looking for the cheap shit that I am looking for, that I had when I was a kid. Because this is pure late 80s, early 90s, when let's just put out this cheap, fun, stupid shit that is not, that we're not trying to hit a home run here. I'm Sam Raimi. I'm making this to please myself, and I know the people that like what I do are going to like this. That's what it is. And
it's
it wasn't
food.
It is, and it wasn't too much later that he made Army of Darkness, which I'm never going to make it. Well, one day, unconnected to this, we will sit down and we will do Evil Dead. I mean, this here, Evil Dead is what we would watch when I was in college on gaming nights. We'd watch it all while drinking and playing tabletop games. That's a miniature games. That's what it was. And we're all it was my Monty Python. These are the movies I can quote. We're all standing there quoting, "This is my boomstick," and that's kind of stuff. I mean, that and of course, and we cannot fail to remark that at the very end, we got a Bruce Campbell cameo right at the end, the final mask, young Bruce Campbell, because Bruce Campbell and Sam Raimi are bosom buddies. Sam Raimi tries to get him in just about every movie he does. Just tries to get him in there.
I wanted to see his Mysterio so bad.
That would have been great.
That would have been awesome.
Listen, I am a massive Bruce Campbell fan. I love just about everything he does, even the cheap TV shows he did. I mean, I love everything Bruce Campbell. So I always love that. Like, oh, Bruce Campbell cameo. He's not in the movie, just right there. There he is. He is now Darkman. Bruce Campbell is Darkman. Anyway, but I love it. And so this movie is what it is. And I knew you were going to have this reaction to it. I knew it. It was one of two ways. You're going to go, okay, this is so retardedly stupid, I like it, or it's retardedly stupid, I can't stand it. And it went the latter for me with you. You were going to go one of two ways. Accept the retarded stupidity and be like, okay, it's so dumb and cringe. I love it. Nope. Not going to do it. All right, let's rake this up and get out of here, because we're gonna try philosophizing more, and they're not here for that. They're not here for that. So it was chat pick, so I'll go first. I give it a 7 out of 10. It is just it does for me every time. I enjoy it, and it's Sam Raimi to the T, plain and simple. And you're gonna be lower than me, aren't you?
Just a tad. Yeah. So like I've said throughout this, I think the direction is very strong, the cinematography is strong, and the effects are great. So there's technical aspects of this film that are of value and deserve points in and of themselves. But I would give this script alone, if I read the script with none of the physical aspects of it, the actors or anything, I would give this script a 0. Like, this script is awful, irredeemable. There's nothing good about it. I would have to break it down to bones and start from scratch to make this thing palatable to me. But the other things have a little bit of value to it. So for those aspects and those aspects alone, I have to give this a 3 out of 10.
Oh, is that the lowest you've ever given anything?
No. It can't be. I gave Golden Child like a 1 or a 2.
And I still disagree with you to my grave on that one. My dear brother Nimsy Jed. Anyway, all right, guys, there you go. Jed, it's your pick next week. What you got?
Well, I've been in the mood for some classic live-action Disney films from like the 60s or 70s era that aren't musicals. There's so many great ones. I briefly considered Swiss Family Robinson. We'll definitely get to that at some point, but I decided we needed to go a little bit more adventure themed. So I decided to go for the Walt Disney live-action classic adaptation of Jules Verne's novel, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
A little Kirk Douglas action right there.
I haven't seen it in a long time, but when I saw it as a kid, I thought it was incredible, which was a big deal for me because I didn't watch a whole lot of old movies when I was growing up. But I think Nemo's performance is top tier.
I think what we'll get on more of this is we'll have a very good Jules Verne discussion, and his vision of science fiction, science fantasy and what things were. And now he was essentially a little bit of a visionary of what would come.
He started the science fiction genre, basically.
Yeah. So I think we'll have a good talk about that next week. And I've already picked my movie for the following week. Jed knows what it is. Well, you guys have to wait a week to find out. Anyway, so thank you everybody for joining us. You guys will get another chance to ruin our day in about a couple months from now when we're somewhere around, I guess, maybe October. Maybe we'll do it in October or November, somewhere around there. We'll give you guys enough advance warning this time. Won't be last minute like this when we realize, oh shit, we're almost out of time. we got to get this done. I mean, we still had September because it's still third quarter September.
Yeah, no, we still have plenty of time.
But I
was
felt
hoping
like,
The Return would win, though. I've been wanting to watch that movie for a while. I mean, it's adaptation of the Odyssey. Of course, I wanted to watch that.
I'm sure whoever put it up there will resubmit again. I know that poor Kale keeps submitting RRR, and even when
You
it makes
have already reviewed it.
I have reviewed. Well, it was a chat made me do this reviews, so that was a little more. I've just lost my mind after watching this dog shit. Yes, Kale, I hate that movie. I despise that movie. All 3 fucking hours of it. I hated it. Hated it. I already lost my mind doing that. Now, but that was before I made it chat maybe watch this review. So that will remain on the Daily Dive stream. I will not clip that one out because I hadn't formatted that idea yet. But still, poor Kale puts it up. Even when it makes the cut, it still doesn't win. So she'll keep submitting it. Whoever submits these guys, keep submitting it. We only had like 7 or 8 this time around, so it wasn't a very large list. But you're think about it like this, guys. We want you to give us good movies, but if you give us something we're guaranteed to hate, it's probably really going to be a good show as we lose our minds. It'll happen.
That's what RRR would be, I think.
Yes. I predict you would have a meltdown, but a different level meltdown than I would from that. They break into song multiple times. It is not like Seven Brides or Seven Brothers where it's glorious. No.
We need to pick that.
We will. When I feel the need for classic. Anyway, thank you, everybody. We hope you had a good time. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channels. And we'll see you next week. Until then, take it easy, everybody.